are tuning in to the Real and Hungry podcast where we are going to talk about the with you guys real estate investing, beginners,
it shouldn't be like these for other people because home loans, and you can start building some equity as well.
Welcome back to the Real and Hungry podcast where we talk about the world of real estate investing. And today I'm here with my main man, Miguel.
Yo.
And the show's going to be all about this guy right here. This guy's been doing great things. So we really want to dive in. I know we've had a lot of questions where people are asking them, hey, what are you guys up to? What you've been doing since you started the show. So we're going to talk about Miguel because he's killing it. So Miguel, I'm going to go ahead and let you talk about it. So let's start off with when did you, and I know we've talked about it for the new people, when was your first investment purchase?
The first property that I purchased was back in 2021.
So and that was probably what, like mid 2021 or?
No, it was actually January of 2021 I closed on it.
So the beginning. So we are what, 4 years after?
No, 3 years. 3 years.
3 years later.
3 years and a half, yeah.
3 years later. So that was your first ever purchase in real estate, right? So this is how quickly things are. So we're only 3 years in. Where are you today?
I just quit my job last Monday, man. finally escaped the rat race, man. And, it was a really emotional moment for real to me. And, I'm thankful to God and all the people that we work, my business partner, Daniel, everybody that, is part of our company because we wouldn't been able to do a lot of the things we do today without that team that we building. And, finally did it. I know that's the moment that a lot of people want to achieve. And, it took time. It didn't start in 21. That was when I bought my first property. But, I want to take it back to when everything really started. And I want to give, I want to talk this incredible teacher that I had in high school that she was one of the first person that saw my talent. And it was back when I was, I believe, in 12th or 11th grade. And I was on a business program in high school. And we were, each company, local company like KFC, Papa John's, Globetrotter, different companies that are big in the headquarters in Louisville, will pick different high school. So that year, it was KFC that picked my high school. And, we had to basically represent the company and play roles. We were working for the company. So we had to develop the product, do all the shipment, get it to the country we were going to launch the new product, which was China at that moment. And, you had to sit down with real people and negotiate. We had a translator because you had to work with different countries that you had to move the product around and all that. But long story short, I was the one going into the negotiation table. They give you like fake passports and everything. And the event was in, what's that university of where the zoo is? Ballard? Bellarmine University. Yeah, it was over there. So the day before, actually the same day, she calls me and she's like, "Hey Miguel, I know you're gonna feel real bad, but the person that was supposed to go to the trade show couldn't make it. And I need you to step up and help the team and cover that position." I was like, "Hey, I got to do what I got to do, right?" So I stepped up and I took that role, even though I didn't even practice for that. And my role in the trade show, we had all the companies with all the products. My role was to sell to people that were grading us to sell the product that we created, right? So, we ended up getting third place as a school, but we got first place in the trade show as far as how they scored us. With the people in the trade show, I got the first place. And when everything's finished, she asked us, "Hey, what did you learn?" And I was like, "I didn't know I could sell something." And she's like, "Hey, you got really good sales skills. People were talking really good about you." And, we left it there. And I remember, I don't know if it was a few days or a few weeks later, she comes back to me and she's like, "Hey, you ever consider selling cars?" Think about this, man. I was working at Wendy's making $7.25 an hour. Anything's better than that, right? Mm-hmm. So, I was open-minded. I was like, "Hey, what is that? Let me look into it." She showed me, how you dress nice, you talk to people, you sell cars. So I'm like, yeah, I'll give it a try. So I went and bought my first suit. My mom helped me out. She actually bought it for me at Men's Warehouse, and I went to the interview. When I got to the interview, which it was actually with her husband. So her husband used to work at Honda World, and she contacted me with him, and he got me the interview. Lemon Sheldon, really good friend of mine now. And I interviewed, and I was actually too young to sell cars. I could only sell when I was 21. And I was almost 18. I was like 17 and a half at that time. So, I still took the job. They put me to clean cars. So I started in Honda World as a lot attendant back into late 2015. And, honestly, I said that's where everything started, because my teacher saw my talent. She gave me that opportunity that, nobody had gave me before. And, her husband helped me out as well. He put a good word for me. And, they gave me the job. And I started cleaning cars for like 2.5 years until I finally made it to sales.
So I guess that was the beginning where you thought that you could sell, right?
Yeah,
and I know. So how do you feel like now where you are today, right? Like where are you today, and how does what you learn or what your talents are as far as selling has helped you get to where you are today?
I tell everybody, and I told this in a different podcast, sales is the best skills that you can learn in life, in my opinion. It will help you with everything. It will help you in a job interview. It will help you, in your business. It will help you develop better relationships. It will help you with your own, girlfriend or, wife, because you're constantly selling yourself or, trying to convince someone to do something, right? In a good way, obviously. So when I started back in 2018, they gave me the opportunity to sell cars. It was June of 2018. I started my training, and July was my first month. And think about this: my English wasn't the best. I didn't know anybody, that could sit down with me and teach me. The older folks at Honda were telling me like, man, you gotta have a lot of topics to talk to these people. Like, why don't you start in a used car? And I talked to my buddy Chandler Lamont, and he was like, man, I wouldn't go on the used car. You're in the right place. So start selling a new car, you'll be all right. And I got that confident. I trained. I had my little chip book with me, so I could learn. If someone asked me a question, I'll go back in there and got myself prepared. I listened to everybody that gave me good advices, and I sold 24.5 cars my first month. It changed my life completely.
So do you feel like that was because I feel like sales, you can have a little bit of talent and then you can enhance your talent, or you can learn the trade and learn the skills and then become a better salesman. Do you feel like you're a natural salesman, like it just came easy to you? Or when you went through and sold those cars, do you feel like you had a lot of training to get you to that point, or you was just hungry and eager and really was motivated to do it?
Obviously we are, as humans, have our own unique talents, right? I've always considered myself really, a friendly person, being able to talk to anybody. If you leave me in a room, I talk to the walls. I can't shut up, but as you told me before, don't talk too much in the podcast.
But here we are.
Yeah. But, honestly, obviously I had that talent, but I didn't know what sales was, and I'm
You're
still
right.
learning to this day about sales, but I didn't know what it looked like, right? But one of my managers, Chuck Morelli, he trained me a simple thing. He was like, hey, you got to break it down. What's your goal for the month? And you got to break it down into weeks and into days, right? So, I did that. So our minimal standard at Honda World was 12 cars. So my goal was to sell 3 cars a week so I could hit the minimum standard at least my first month. My first week, I sold 5 cars. So I was like, I need to set my bar higher. I think I can definitely, do more than 3 cars. But that was my minimum. I was happy if I sold 3 cars, and it gave me more confidence. I knew I was going to, overachieve my goal. So, they had a really good training back then. They trained me. I had a really good mentor, Jason Carwell. Some of the guys that were there and taught me and, corrected me, Sean, and, everybody over there. I'm really appreciative about everything they taught me. And I just, I was able to listen and put it into practice right away. And, then you start learning about the psychology, behind sales and all that. And then I went more into depth with that. But, yeah, definitely, obviously I had some talent, but if you listen to the right people, man, it will always help you.
So you discovered the talent in high school because thanks to your teacher.
She discovered, I think.
She discovered it. She helped you, and they probably sparked a light bulb. She pushed you to get into car sales, which is great. First month in, killed it. 24 cars sold. You were killed it. I'm sure 3 years later, you were probably a top performer month over month, year over year, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now you just quit your job, this is why I think podcast is so important. And we talk about real estate, right? So that was your background. Now we're in real estate. You quit your job, and now you're doing real estate full time.
Yes.
Right. How has your experience and your talent and everything that you've learned and you've trained, and I know you, so I know you always trying to get better every day. How has everything that you've accumulated over the last 3 years have put you in a position where you are doing what people dream of doing, right? Like people dream of, like, I wish I could just quit my job and do my own thing, right? Like, it's hard. And people talk about being an entrepreneur, and Like, it's a cool thing to do, but they don't understand how hard it is. You're doing it. You're doing it. We're seeing it. How has your experience helped you to get to this point, which is so important for people to know?
You know, yesterday I wrote something on my Instagram that came to my mind, and I said, if you understand that the tough times that you're going through right now will make your future easier, you will always stay happy, right? And I don't look at my tough time right now as something that, damn, puts me down, or, instead I've looked at it as, okay, everything that I'm learning right now is going to make my life much easier in the future, right? It's exactly what happened. I mean, I went through sales. I went from, didn't know much English. It was hard to communicate, how to bring topics, being able to do that, learn sales, become one of the best salesmen in the store, until I reached a point, like we're talking in the podcast, I was able to save some money. And, I was looking around myself, and I was seeing, 45, 50-year-old guys that had spent 20, 25 plus years in there. And I just couldn't see myself doing that for the next 20, 25 years. So, what do? Do I get depressed and look at it as, damn, this is going to be my life? Or do I do something about it and take action, right? So, I did that, and I started doing researches, and I found out about real estate. And I was watching Graham Stephan. He was like, hey, you can flip a house and make $30,000, $50,000. So I was like, damn, what is this? I was doing a little bit of business before, like flipping cars and small stuff, just to kind of, save a little more money on the side. But when I looked into real estate, I'm like, man, there's something here. So I started looking up, and that probably happened like around, 2019, 2020, when the pandemic hit. So I started, looking at all these things. Because that was a tough moment that sent me home because the dealership closed down. I'm like, man, I don't want to ever have this feeling again, because that was a tough feeling. They send you home. Right now, you're gonna still making money. If I wouldn't have some money saved up, I would have been in a tough position, right? Screwed. So I was like, I didn't want to have that feeling ever again in my life. So I put myself in a position to where thankfully I hope I'll never be in that position ever again. So I started looking into real estate, and did the small research. Is that cool? Back then, I didn't know anybody on the business, so I couldn't really get any advice from any close friends like, I do now every day. But about I started looking for houses. I probably looked for like 6-8 months until I thought I found the one, and I pulled the trigger, and, I bought it.
So that's great. So how are you using your skills now? How are you translating what you've always known, your talents, to today where you are?
Do sales. I have to negotiate all the time to be able to find this deal. I have to, do the right connections with the right people, be able to get the deals for the best price for a company. It's.
And I don't mean to be asking you like the same question over and over, but I think a lot of people that we talk to, everybody, they're watching this show because they want to get into real estate investing. Yeah. But I don't think they understand the piece that you've been able to master, and that's why I'm asking you. And it is all that, like, and you can explain it. I want you to explain it. But there's so many people that you have to talk to within a real estate transaction.
Oh, right? A lot, yeah.
Right,
yeah.
And then how, and I'm sure your communication skills and your selling skills and your social skills have been able to not help you find good deals, negotiate good deals, but all that. And that's kind of what I was trying to get at. It's like, I know that has been one of the reasons where you are to the point.
I had great coaches that Honda World's a company brought in. And sometimes, when you work for a company, they bring these people and you're like, damn, man, this meeting again, right? Mm-hmm. So, again, do you look at the things you don't want to do as a positive thing and, you learn something or get something out of it, or you just complain, right? So I took something out of it. I learned from everybody that went there and trained, and I got a little bit of something. And I hate the phones. So, to this day, I hate making phone calls, but, I had to get good at it. I had to know what to say when people, throw me an objection, and, I had to lose that fear of getting on the phone and calling, cold calling people, because you're calling people that they don't expect you to call them. So being able to get all those objections, people getting mad in front of you because the thing you're, taking advantage of them, or not happy with the price they're getting, and all that definitely helped me today, because like you say, when I first did my first few transactions, you got to talk to the people that are selling you the house. You got to talk to the title company. You got to communicate with the insurance guys. Everybody, And
also the contractors, right? The people that are doing the work.
That's a different game right there too. You got to make sure that they're not ripping you off, and negotiate the price down to get, the best codes, and, all that stuff. It's the same, technically similar things that I was doing when I was working at Honda, and I was able to, learn during my 8 years that I was there, and I started applying every little thing that I could into the business.
Are you excited or are you scared?
Honestly, man, I'm gonna be honest with you. I haven't been scared. It
awesome,
was.
Man.
I don't feel scared at all. When knowledge is power, man, and what I have in my head that I've been able to accumulate for the years, nobody can take that away from me. So, even if we do bad stuff, which I don't think we will, because I have a lot of people under me right now that depend on us. So, we'll make sure that every step that we take is not only thinking about us, it's also thinking about the team that we have. And I think when you do that, man, you're only going to go forward. And again, if I have to do it all over again, I'm 8 years ahead because I have the knowledge and nobody can take that away from me, So
that's huge, man. So kudos to you, man, because that's big. And it's true. Like, your confidence come through because of what you know.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it probably wasn't the case a year or so ago when you were doing it.
Man, the last 3 years, last 2 years, I'll say, 2 years and a half, and it kept getting tougher and tougher. I've been working 2 jobs 24/7 for the last 2.5 years until, last Monday. And obviously you start to scale, and you obviously have a good capacity of handling issues and problems and stress and all that. So I'm a kind of person that if I'm doing something, I want to do it good, right? Mm-hmm. So I want to do good at my job. I want to still perform good, and I want to do good in the business. I want to put my all to it, and I want to grow. So it got to the point to where we grow so much during 2 years that we had a team under us. I was constantly having to deal with the issues that comes with the business. At the same time, I wanted to do my job well at home. That I didn't want to disappoint another manager, and they knew, and I'm really appreciative with all the stuff you guys put out with me, because they let a lot of things slide in a way, just because they knew where I was doing, and they were really patient. And I still perform as a good salesman, but not to the point where they know I could perform, right? So they let me do it. They allow me to stay there. A few months ago, I sit down with one of my managers. I was like, hey, look, man, there's 2 things that the only way I'll be able to stay here is if I do it part-time. If not, I'm going to have to quit.
When I listen to you, man, I always think about Gary V. You know Gary V, right? Gary
Probably
V.
know him, but with names.
Come on, Gary Vaynerchuk. And he always talks, Gary V, and he always talks about, like, find the thing that you love, find the thing that really ticks you, do work your job, and then from like 6 to 10 or from 6 to 2 in the morning, work your part-time job and work at it over and over until you can quit the job that you don't like. And I feel like that's exactly where you are right now. Like, we need to send your story to Gary V and be like, this guy did it. Like, he's doing exactly. But he tells everybody to do that because everybody wants to work for themselves or be an entrepreneur. Not everybody, but most people, they aspire to do their own thing. And you've done it, man. But it wasn't easy. You worked your ass off, I'm sure.
Hard, man.
Right? 24 hours, like you said. I know how much you've worked, and you got to the point. When do you realize, like, okay, it's time? How do you come up to that conclusion?
Obviously, first of all, where our business at, as far as revenue for the year. And thankfully, we had an amazing year. We had an amazing year last year, but it was chaos. It was like really, really busy. And I started getting really stressful, and to me, obviously everybody works for money, but, my main motivation right now, to be honest with you, is not even money, right? It's building what we're building right now. So I was like, it ain't worth it to make, a couple thousand more or whatever a month to be this stressful. And then I started feeling bad with myself, really bad with myself, because I was like, man, I'm not doing 100% in here and I'm not doing 100% here. So, I was like, if I quit this, then I can do this 100%. If I quit these, then I can do this 100%. So when I started asking my questions to myself, I'm like, the answer obviously came always to, you got to quit your job. You got to quit your job. You got to quit your job. And every time I went to my job, I was always thinking of my business. So, it just got to a point that my morals or whatever wouldn't let me continue to do that, because I felt like in a way I was taking advantage to where I was working. And I just, I couldn't be doing that with the people that, helped me, taught me, and saw me grow. I wasn't feeling good doing that. And, I thought of this literally like on a Wednesday, Thursday, on Thursday. And I was like, I don't know, maybe I was drinking. I was like, I'm going to quit my job.
Because I remember like a week before you were like, okay, I went part-time. And you were like slow stepping.
Like a month before I went part-time. And then I was like, man, I can't do it anymore. And, I think Thursday when I was like, I saw a few friends from work and I told them, I said, man, I'm quitting. because I had to get it out. And you know, I don't say in a bad way, because I really enjoy working there. I really enjoy my job. I really enjoy sales, talking to people, and always like hustling to sell more and more. But man, you know, that day it was sad, because those people literally saw me from when I was 17 years old to 26, and you know, they were like, "Man, you're the truly American dream. We're proud of you, and we're proud of what you've done. And you know, you always got the doors open if you ever have to come back. But I hope you don't."
Yeah.
So you know, it was,
that says a lot about you as a person too. That they were like, damn, they were proud of you, right?
Yeah,
you know,
they were
proud
you know,
of you, and then they.
Some
left
most of
the
them were
door
proud
open.
of me. You know.
That's crazy, man. So I do have to ask you this. So over the last 2 years, because I know you've been working your ass off, how much money have you taken from your business now?
Zero.
Oh.
We're taking no money at all. We haven't even taken a vacation in the business.
So you have a partner, right?
Yes, I have a business partner.
Okay. So you and him were both on the same page that you were going to work for 3 years nonstop, flipping homes,
Yep.
buying rental properties, learning the business, getting educated, and you guys never took any money out.
Never took any money, and
He didn't take any money, and you
no,
didn't take
we
any money.
didn't. We, you know, and that honestly, that's some. I'd say some of the pro of having a partnership. If you have the right partner, because if you both have the same mentality and the same discipline, you know, you guys are going together, right, to the same direction. So you know, we never had a discussion of like, hey, I need to take money out, or hey, you know, never, man. Like, you know, we just now recently started paying some from the rentals that we have, but obviously right now we're starting to pay ourselves eventually. But you know, he had a full-time job, I had a full-time job, so you know, we did good enough in our jobs that we were able to survive with that and continue to grow the business. Because if you take away to pay yourself from a business, then you're taking away from, you know, it's like taking food away from like a, you know, like an animal or something, or a baby that, you know, you can grow if you take the food away, right? At the momentum that you want it to grow. So that's exactly what we did. We just left everything there, kept reinvesting it, and, you know, to what we have today.
And I think that's also a good note for people to know that that's truly the only way that you can scale, right? Like you can't scale
at that pace for
if
sure.
you can't scale if you make money and you go splurge on the money that you made this month, and the next money you're starting over from scratch. Well, now you have no money to reinvest into the business. So you guys did it right. All the money for 3 years was reinvested back into the business, and now you're at a point where you could probably pay yourself, and you're still gonna have net profits that you can.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, you know, we're looking at paying ourselves a decent amount, you know, to where we still live our lifestyle. You know, I don't have a crazy lifestyle, because you can't have that either if you want your business to grow. I mean, there's got to be a point to, obviously you're gonna start enjoying all those fruits, but you got to plant those first to be able to get them, you know. So we're in the growing stage right now, and you know, to me, material stuff aren't really my focus. My main focus right now is, you know, keep building the team that we're building, and you know, getting better on systems and processes, and you know, how we can continue to grow as a company.
Where do you see you in 5 years from now? As a company.
5 years from now, we want to probably double the team that we have now, and do double the amount, or 3 times the amount that we're doing today. We actually starting our own, you know, marketing company to be able to do direct marketing to sellers, to find our own deals, just so we can continue to have that momentum, because we're going through them so quick that, you know, sometimes we struggle to find that next deal and the next deal. So we want to be able to spend some money in marketing, create a sales team behind it. So you know, we see ourselves with a great sales team and a great you know, construction company that can handle every house that we put out there. And I would be stepping out of, you know, the day-to-day operations again. So right now we're in the process of, from our main company, Vision House Investments, we're, you know, doing all the SOPs and everything. We just hired someone new, and we're about to hire someone else, just to completely be as off as possible of that company and let it run itself, and then focus on the new one, and kind of repeat the same process on this new company that we continue to feed Vision Housing and to grow.
So Vision Housing is your...
Vision Housing Investments are a company that we've you know, we opened in 2022.
And what is the main activity of that company?
We buy, flip, and we rehab rentals, you know, apartments. We do new constructions. So we actually hopefully start a new development project as well for apartments. So that's kind of the operational company.
So it's the combination of buying, rehabbing, flipping, but also new construction,
yes,
and also having some rental properties there.
Yes, and then we have Vision Housing Acquisition, which is a new company that we just opened, and that would be strictly, you know, acquisition, just, you know, finding the deals for Vision Housing.
So essentially, Vision Housing will be paying Vision Acquisition
For the deals, yes.
for the deals, and then
Yeah.
killing it, dude.
Man, we're working hard, dude.
Killing it.
So
what about 10 years from now?
I don't see myself doing much, to be honest with you. I see myself enjoying, hopefully the family that I'm going to have. My kids, man, being able to go to, they play sports or whatever they want to do, just being there for them and, putting, dedicating my time to them. I'm only 26. By the time I'm 35, that's my number. I want to, maybe, I talked to a good friend of mine the other day, and I was like, why do you continue to work, if you don't really have to? He said, because if I don't, my company won't grow. So I learned from that. I want to create the right systems and processes that my company will always continue to grow. Maybe not at the same pace, but will always year after year continue to grow, even if I'm not there, because otherwise you're not really creating a business. You're creating another job. And, I left my job not to be in that position 10 years from now. So if I don't do that, what's the purpose, right? Because money, how much money do you really need to live a great life,
Right.
So it's more buying my time back. I think in 10 years from now, I'll be able to, buy my time back and spend more time on the things that are more important to me, which, in this scenario, in this case, is family.
That's awesome, man. I think that's an incredible goal, and I'm sure you're going to get it, and I can't wait to see it.
Thank you, man.
Just when you have that big boat, just
We're
make
going
sure
in it,
that you invite me.
Not in the Ohio River, though.
Don't forget about me.
Awesome, man.
All right, so, man, super proud of you, obviously. Super stoked for everything that you got going on, you and Daniel. I think that's huge. What were some things that you did? And I always try to go back because I'm trying to pay attention to the audience, and a lot of the people, they're now getting started. They haven't even started. Maybe they just started with 1 or 2 properties. What would be your biggest piece of advice that you can give someone who is trying to find a way to get to your 10-year goal right now? Like, what are some of the things that you've learned from all the training, all the education that you could say, here's what you need to focus on?
There's 3 things that lately I've been really focused on, and I think has been, part of my success. And, my business partner is really good on this as well. First of all, is accountability. We have to take accountability for our actions. Where we do, when we do something bad, man, it's our fault. It's nobody else's fault, right? So if I made a mistake, it's my fault. I gotta do something different to make it better, right?
Or something doesn't go well.
Exactly. So second would be take action. Because a lot of people they receive the knowledge and they take it in them and they read a lot and they listen to a lot of podcasts, but they never put it into action. And knowledge without action is stupidity. What do you need it for? Why do you need it up there?
I think a lot of people fear failure. How do you deal with that? Or they feel messing up, or they fear, they fear the unknown. They fear, like it worked out for you, right? Which is great, and it's worked out for me. But what if it didn't work out for somebody else?
If you're on the first step of the ladder and you fall, how is it gonna hurt? No, really. Depends on what ladder, right? But if as much as you climb over, it's gonna hurt more. But if you're down here, or let's say if you don't have any money, what's your fear of losing money? If you're not gonna lose nothing, man, you know what I'm saying? If I know people that their credit sucked and they got out of it, and their credit's good now and they're doing business. I know stories of people that lost everything, and millions of dollars, and they got back up again, and right now they're multimillionaires. So I don't think of a problem until it actually becomes a problem. Sometimes when we create the problem in our head, it doesn't even happen. So, excuse me, whenever anything that I'm gonna do, like I was gonna quit my job, I'm not gonna start thinking, oh shoot, my company's not gonna be good and I'm not gonna be able to pay myself. Dude, I didn't have none of this 8 years ago. I didn't have any of these, but I do have the knowledge now. Even if I fail on what we do, or we fail on what we do, or something happens, God forbid, I have the knowledge. I'm already 8 years ahead. It took 8 years of learning and practicing to get to where we are today. It doesn't happen from day to night, So, if you're someone that you're watching it and you're afraid of taking the first step, don't think about what the potential issues could be. Take that first step. Surround yourself with people that can help you, that can teach you. Watch videos like these. Watch a podcast every day. Learn something every day, but not only learn it, put it into practice, because to me, that has been the key of our success. When we learn about the ARV formula, and how to find, that I told you, the 75% formula that we use, dude, the moment I learned it, I started applying it. Yeah. And I started underwriting deals on the market. And guess what? The first year, we did 5 years only on the market. 5 years only. Because I didn't know about wholesaling. I didn't know about nothing.
5 deals, right?
Yeah. We found them on the market. So people sometimes are like, I can't find a deal on the market. Dude, it took 10, 15 houses to look at to get one. And I was still had a full-time job. So I was going on my lunchtime to appointments to meet realtors and create those relationships, It wasn't until the second year that we did over 10. But that first year was struggle, but whatever we learned, I was on my job and I was on Zillow. I hope they don't see this. And I was like making calls to realtors. I'm practicing the script that Jerry Norton taught me on a video. And I was using that formula. And, guess what? It worked. Why? Because I put it into place.
So take action.
Yeah. I mean, if you tell me, Miguel, and you told me before, do this because this is my result, why would I not do it? I don't understand when we tell people this thing, and I tell, I have good friends, I'll tell them exactly what I'm doing. They know it. They just don't take action. And this is, yeah, and I give props to my little brother because he's someone that, listens, and not only listens, but he puts into practice, not because he sees the result, because, we see the result from a lot of people that give us good advice, but we don't put it into action. And I think that's key, man. Always learn, but it doesn't matter if you keep it in your head. You got to put it into action. And whatever happens in the way, dude, you're always going to figure it out. Yeah. There's not a problem that someone else haven't been through. You just got to find that person if you don't know how to deal with it, or you learn something new. I mean, I've learned, a ton of stuff, dude. Ton of stuff.
So accountability, huge. Extreme accountability.
Learning. Never stop learning. And take action.
That's it.
Those are my 3 things that if you can apply those, because you don't want to blame anybody. And I think this world is full of people that constantly wake up and they blame everybody else but themselves. If you're fat, man, it's on you. Eat better. Like I'm trying to lose my weight myself. Am I gonna blame my girlfriend because she cooks good? No, man. I'm blaming her because I don't know, whatever. No, it's my I have to account for myself. Like I have to wake up early. I have to go to the gym. I have to eat right. If I do those things, guess what? I'm gonna lose weight, right? Yeah. So now if I maybe need to learn on new ways to develop better habits about losing weight. So guess what? I'm gonna listen to the people that I fit and they're doing the right things. And I'm not only gonna listen to one person. I'm gonna listen to a few people. And then when I listen and I think pick whatever fits better for me, I'll put into practice. One of my dad's friend lost 80 pounds. He's about to lose it. He's almost close to 100 pounds he lost already. And, he told me what he's doing. And out of everything that I've tried before, it's been working for me. I already lost 15 pounds.
That's awesome, man.
So,
look at you, man.
Like
just an all around.
And it's hard, winner, man, because, I was like not feeling even good with myself because, it takes, good habits and eating right and all the stuff, right? So, I'm back to feeling better. And trying to get back in shape, but again, I can't blame anybody, man. It's my own fault. Like if I wasn't selling cars at Honda, good enough, I wasn't blaming the manager. I wasn't getting enough leads. I was doing something wrong. I had to get better. That's it.
How to do it. That's awesome.
So
kudos to you, man. Proud of you. And I think we've already said this. So when we started this, I asked you, where are you today? So where are you in your business right now? I know you're starting a new company, and obviously you're doing that. You're full time. What is Vision Housing doing right now that has helped you get to a point where now you're done? You're 100% independent. You're a business owner. You're an entrepreneur, and you're just going to keep growing.
I had a customer one time, and again, I go back to Honda because I learned a lot there, man.
It should be a Honda podcast.
This customer, I asked him, I always ask people what you do, and he was like, I'm a business advisor. I was like, okay, really? Tell me more. I said, I help business, systemize their operations and, make sure that the business always continue to grow, without the main guy being there, and each team know what to do in every step of the process. And I was like, how do you do that? He said, there's 3 things that you're always going to need in a company. systems and processes, people, and technology. If you combine those three, you're gonna be better than your competition, right? And those three are the main things that are gonna help your company grow. So, we started adding employees to our company, and it was a chaos. Like, it was even more stressful than it was before because humans, right?
Right.
And I was like super stressing out, thinking they were stealing me and all that stuff, which is normal. So I started again. I had an issue. Started looking for solutions. I listened to what this guy say, and I started looking for ways to find I can. My guys can clock in and out when they're working. I know their location, so I came up about this CRM that exists for that. It's called Connect Team. And then we were having issues because our pictures were everywhere in our phone and it wasn't organized. I didn't have a way to kind of have everything organized in one file. I tried doing it myself on the phone. It didn't work. Well, guess what? A phone company came. We started using that, and now we have all the projects on our phones, and it's organized. I know which stage each process is on. We get reports. We got checklists in there. So, we wouldn't have been able to do what we do today without a good system in place, people, and without having the right technology. So right now, what we're mainly focused on is creating, going back and, creating the right SOPs for the new people that we're going to hire and for the people that are there now.
What's SOPs for the people?
For example, like I'm hiring what's SOP?
Yeah.
It's standard operational procedure.
Okay.
So, I'm doing those so that I can, when I hire, for example, a project manager, I just have to give him, all the tools he needs to go to war, right? Because if I don't, he's going to go to war and then he's going to come back to me and say, man, what do I do?
So you're creating a legit business, right? So,
of course.
So when you started any company, I think that's what big companies have figured out is that everything has a process, right? Like the training, this is our training, our process, this is what you do from start to finish. When somebody gets a job, they're telling them, here's the job, here's how you need to do it, and here's the steps that you need to follow, which is the standard operation procedures that you're talking about. So I think you've always talked about that, and he always helps me a little bit because that has been the reason why I feel like you've been able to scale, is that you've always focused on investing in the technology, investing in the people, but also investing in figuring out systems that would just automate things, right? Like help you automate things. So you're not, and that's how you can handle 11 flips at one given time.
Yep.
2 constructions. I mean, just imagine if a random real estate investor wants to do all that on its own, and he's the one doing it, he would go crazy.
Or you wouldn't be able to sustain it, or you get into alcohol, drugs, or whatever because it's crazy.
Or you're working 20 because you can't be in 11 houses at one time.
No.
You can be in 12 houses at one time.
It's crazy.
But you and Daniel have figured out a way to systemize things so you can stay on top of everything, but because you have standard operating procedures
honestly,
in place.
Having a full-time job helped a lot because you had to figure out how to still run the business while working. So I couldn't drive to every property on my day off because my day off only have 8 hours and how there's stuff to do, how closing schedules for the day and all that. So again, we went back and what do we have to do with the technology that we have, the people that we have, who can we put in place to do that? So picking the right talent is important too. And now we're getting into, I read a book, it's called 4DX, 4 Discipline of Execution, and it's big into, creating the right, systems in place so that you can track that your team is going towards the main goal, right? For example, if my main goal is finish a house in 30 days, which I have different construction stages, right? Now I can go back and say, okay, this is the second week that they've been there and they're still on phase 1. There's got to be something going on that is wrong. So I go talk to specifically that team. I don't have nothing to do with the other people that are doing the job on a different stage, on a different house, because they're in track. So now I'm only talking to those people and say, hey, what's going on here? Maybe it's an issue in the house. Maybe they just don't doing their job. So, you're not going at them and say, hey, why you not doing this, yelling at them? No, I'm like, dude, look, we've done 10 properties and it only takes us a week on this stage. Why is it taking 2 now? That's right. It. Simple question. You don't have to argue with anybody. Right. And that gives you the ability to start training them on the right procedures, right?
And hold them accountable.
Exactly.
And then,
And right now we're starting trainings on Mondays, and it's going to be, especially with that team, it's going to be all around, hey, what do you need when you're on this stage? What do you need when you're on this stage? So everybody has the same mentality. And, one is easier because if you forget something, I remember it and vice versa. So everybody's kind of in the same, tone and everything's moving forward and moving the needle.
That's awesome, man. I appreciate that. That's big, man. I think you've given a lot of people thought. I think you're about to motivate people to just quit their job and go be an entrepreneur.
Don't do it yet.
But it takes 3 years. So I think we're about to wrap this up. If you want to learn more about Miguel's story, if there's anything that he didn't cover, drop it in the comments. Let us know, and we will be more than happy to try to circle back and give him this. I think this is the true prodigy. Super proud of you, man.
Thanks, brother.
Glad to be your friend and your podcast brother.
Appreciate it.
But learning from you, man, it's great to see you. I can't wait to see what you do next. I know you're going to do big things, so I'm excited for that. I know that people are super excited because you're killing it, man.
Thanks, brother. And, you know, we got really good plans for the podcast and, you know, trying to implement better tools so that we can help you guys that watch us. Please drop your subscriber. We got 197, 98, I think. So we're trying to get to 500 before June. So if you're watching this podcast, if you grab something good from this podcast at all, just drop your like for us and drop a comment and subscribe to our channel. I guarantee you we're going to have really good content coming up. Thank you.
Just like Miguel, we're just getting better. Peace.
We're real and hungry, and we want you to be real and hungry as well.